This week, we have a coffee-themed treat for fans of Overcooked, a cozier take on Subnautica, and much more. If you have felt a little burnt out lately, maybe follow the example of these space raccoons. Take a breather in a trash can, sip a frappuccino, and you're good to go again. Or, you know what, maybe just order a pizza and enjoy a co-op gaming night with a friend in this new shopkeeper game called Coffee Raccoons. Two raccoons can run an intergalactic coffee shop together in local couch co-op, but Steam Remote Play together is supported as well, so you don't necessarily need to be sitting next to each other. By day, you brew drinks from weird alien ingredients, manage customer orders, upgrade your equipment, and try to keep the cafe running smoothly. By the way, the customers look way friendlier than your standard client on Earth. Maybe we should move to outer space. Although, I think I had a customer looking like this last week. If you're working in customer support, you can probably relate. While brewing, the beans themselves can also cause some minor difficulties with effects like teleporting and time warps. Why does the crazy stuff always happen on our shift, am I right? At night, it's time to leave the cafe behind and explore alien planets for said coffee beans and other rare ingredients like sweeteners, alien fruit, and upgrade material. You can even encounter wildlife, unusual plants, or space cows that you can feed and milk for Milky Way lattes. While out, you'll have to keep an eye on your oxygen while gathering enough resources to upgrade both your cafe and your spaceship. And despite sounding similarly stressful to games like Overcooked, this game is very much going for a cozier atmosphere. There's no release date yet, but playtests and a demo are currently in development by a 2-people indie team. We all know the drill by now. Create your character, loot a rusty axe, chop down some trees, and hunt your first wolves. The typical RPG experience. But have you ever wondered what's it like to be on the opposite side? Woodland Rebels certainly did and puts you into the shoes, fur, of the animals inhabiting the forest. And they are pretty much done with your nonsense. So much so that they start a rebellion. In this 2D survival sandbox, a mysterious energy has turned ordinary animals into humanoid villagers, giving them the ability to build, farm, and eventually fight back against those intruding so-called adventurers. You can play as anything from rabbit or squirrel to a bear, turtle, or moose. The world is procedurally generated with different biomes, changing seasons, and even hazards like storms and wildfires. Did someone ignore the fire ban again? There are also caves, puzzles, and underground areas to explore, plus plenty of farming, fishing, and building along the way. But unlike your usual survival game, you are not completely on your own. You can discover animal settlements and help their inhabitants until they eventually join your cause. How selfless of us. Once they are on your side, you can assign jobs like farming, cooking, or guarding while keeping an eye on their general mood, housing, and food. I wonder how your average food chain works out in this setting. Either way, when those pesky humans show up, you can unite your recruits and take them on with weapons, traps, and craftable gear. Maybe that solves the food chain issue? The game is playable as sandbox or in campaign mode, with different NPC groups adding their own stories. Online co-op is planned for the full game, although the upcoming demo next week will be single player only. Subnautica is too scary and Dave the Diver is too single-playerly for you? Great! Then with NAUTUS, we might have the perfect alternative for you. After receiving a mysterious radio message from your uncle, you arrive at a remote research station where the scientists have lost their memories. To uncover whatever happened to them, you have no choice as to explore the abyss in your little upgradable submarine. The underwater world is filled with shipwrecks, strange creatures, and anomalies. You can gather resources, find artifacts, and upgrade your submarine to reach increasingly more dangerous areas. But there's also a much cozier side to this adventure. Back on the surface, you can build and expand your own outpost, craft equipment, and befriend the unique researchers. But most importantly, NAUTUS can be played entirely in online co-op for up to 4 players. You and 3 friends can follow the story around your uncle's disappearance, explore the depth, gather resources, fight or capture creatures, and work on your island base together. NAUTUS comes from the indie developers of Have a Nice Death and Unruly Heroes and is planned for Steam Early Access in 2027. The game is still very early in development, but this combination of cozy island management and underwater expeditions has definitely caught our attention. Albion Online is finally getting dragons with its next major update, Dragonfire, launching August 31st. The update adds the Ancient Lands, a floating island region where players can fight through increasingly dangerous areas and compete for resources. The big boss here is Azarion, a massive fire dragon that you have to fight in a dedicated 20-player raid. Dragons can also randomly attack the regular open world, giving players a reason to team up on the spot or end up as delicious barbecue. And if you manage to survive all that, you might even get a dragon egg to raise in your very own fire drake mount. Sweet! Titan Quest 2 just got one of its biggest early access updates yet, adding the new Spirit Mastery and the game's first proper crafting system. The Mastery lets you build around summoning the dead and draining life, with options for hybrid builds that can be combined with any other masteries. Crafting also means you can finally modify your loot by re-rolling, replacing, or adding affixes rather than simply waiting for a better drop. The update also improves movement speed, loot rewards, and several co-op issues, including better visibility for health and energy of your party members. The first paid DLC for REANIMAL has arrived as a surprise release, introducing 2 new protagonists, the Soldier, a girl in a military uniform, and the Prisoner, in the middle of a war-torn version of the game's original world. The Prisoner follows the same co-op horror formula as the base game, but adds new enemies and tools, like the axe for the Soldier and an instant camera for the Prisoner. Well, better than nothing. It's a short chapter giving you around an hour of playtime for roughly $10, with 2 more chapters coming later this year and in early 2027. Into the Abyss is Grounded 2's biggest update yet, expanding Brook Hollow Park with an enormous underwater world beneath Skunk Pond. Swimming has been completely rebuilt from Part 1 with 3D movement, underwater combat, and diving suits. There is now also underwater base building and a buggy to ride, swim, and dive on. The pond also comes with plenty of new creatures and old ones we really didn't miss. What a coincidence! There are also new weapons and resources, and with the PS5 launch, including crossplay, also more possibilities for friends to join the fun. The Lord of the Rings, War in the North, has been shadow-dropped as a legacy edition, bringing back a classic after more than a decade. Originally released in 2011, it follows a separate group of heroes fighting Sauron's forces, while Frodo and the Fellowship are busy elsewhere. The re-release keeps the original game intact, but adds quality of life improvements, including switching between characters on the fly, better saves, and modern controller support. But most importantly, the co-op that the original lost is back, with up to 3 players online or local with a new split-screen mode, plus drop-in, drop-out support on top. Helldivers 2's latest update, Devoid of Liberty, is opening up a new region of space where entire planets have mutated. 2 new enemies make the affected missions especially dangerous. The Wretch can disable your weapons if you let it get too close, and the Crusher can regenerate over time. But the biggest co-op addition might be the new SEAF troops, who can drop in alongside you, provide extra firepower, and even heal teammates. And yes, you can give them an assuring hug mid-battle. Although, with friendly fire still enabled, maybe don't get too attached. Patch 12.1, Curse of Ulatek, expands World of Warcraft's Midnight expansion with a new storyline around the Amani Trolls and adds a new zone, the Coiled Isle. The real challenge then arrives with Season 2 on August 18th. An 8 boss raid, a new dungeon, 3 new delves, and a new Mythic Plus rotation. Then there's a new arena training mode against bots for the aspiring PvP players among you, and for the uncoordinated, a Discord integration for guilds and raid groups. And for the cozier side of WoW, housing gets shareable blueprints, pet beds, and new neighborhood activities. The first Descendant is heading into its biggest story battle yet, with Season 4, Episode 1, The Great Clash, launching August 20th. The update also introduces Raven, a close-range Descendant who dual-wields shotguns, teleports around the battlefield, and summons a Raven-shaped companion to fight alongside her. And no, this is not another Bayonetta collab. This is called Taking Inspiration. The main event is a new mega dungeon that takes up to 8 players through multiple bosses before a cinematic showdown with the big baddie Carol, followed 2 weeks later by a high-difficulty conquest mode with leaderboards. There's also a new endless roguelike mode and 11 customizable weapons to chase. Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition is bringing the Baltic Powers expansion back from the dead on September 10th, after the DLC was originally cancelled last year. It adds 2 new civilizations, Denmark, Norway, focused on naval control, defense and information, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which turns a strong economy into an army of very angry cavalry. More importantly for multiplayer, 2 new modes change the usual rules. One makes your leader a killable target, while the other removes home city shipments entirely. There are also over 25 new maps, challenge scenarios, and plenty of balance changes. But that's all for this week. Grab yourself a coffee, hide inside a recycling bin, and hit the subscribe button to join the loveliest gaming community, if you haven't already. We wish you an awesome time in co-op with your favorite people, and we'll see you again in the next one.